I spent the majority of the week playing Tron Identity, which I wrote a review for, and it's out there now. And last week, it was killing me to not talk about it, but now I can talk about it. You should read the review for my full thoughts, but Tron Identity is one of my favorite visual novels. I think if you are into visual novels, it's a must purchase because it does the Tron property so good. The developers at Bithell, by the way, Bithell is the developer behind this game, and they've done Thomas Was Alone and Subsurface Circular. So they have great experience with crafting wonderful narratives in games. And they have done a visual novels before, and this is a visual novel. So they understand not only how to craft an intriguing, thought-provoking story, but clearly they are fans of Tron because they've gotten Tron better than anything had since the first movie. And of course, the first movie got it good because it invented Tron. So this is everything I want, expect, love about, and appreciate with Tron.
Is Jeff Bridges in it?
No, but he is referenced.
Okay, all right.
Because there's a whole thing in the game about how some view him as God, and they talk about him the same way they would Jesus. Like, he's going to return one day, and he's going to save us all and show us a new way. And other people are like, he's not real. He was never real. These people are crazy.
So this takes place before the second and first movies?
No, because it's a new grid.
Oh,
so there's only whispers of what has happened. And there's a thing in this grid. There's a library where trees are grown, digital trees, and the trees are like growing on. There's a librarian that fosters the trees because they grow as knowledge grows. But the librarian is having a crisis because all this knowledge is locked up in one building, because it's basically like if you this civilization would fall apart. Like, this would ruin everybody. But she's thinking it's not right that we hold on to this information. We have to disseminate it and let people do with it, let programs do with it what they will. There's really interesting, like, ethical conversations and topics in this game. It's everything I want from Tron, and it's everything I know Tron to be, really explored to a very interesting level. They did. I love Tron. I love the idea of Tron, and I love some of the things that what was the Tron sequel movie? Legacy. I love some of the ideas that Tron Legacy explores. I think Tron Legacy is a fun movie, but I also think Tron Legacy was more of a spectacle. I like the movie. I do like it, and there are interesting tidbits and threads in there that I want to see followed. I just wish the movie took more of that direction, and the game certainly takes that approach because it's a visual novel. It's not here to be flashy. It's not here for big action sequences. If you're looking to, like, get on a light cycle and shoot tanks and stuff, that's not what this is about. This is about
boxes, ask questions, fact finding.
Yes, making decisions that can alter the course of programs' lives. It's about the things that make Tron interesting to me. The idea of a whole civilization inside a computer and how it relates to what we would call real people and life and living and what it means to be alive. And all these things are explored in this through very unique perspectives, because there's maybe 6 characters in the game, and each one has a very interesting way of living and approach, and they all make you think things, and all that makes it hard for you to make decisions because you want to do not only what you think is right, but what you believe to be true. So the story's so good. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love the ideas it plays with. Love the paths it goes down. I love how your input really matters because the decisions you make impact what happens in the story. The composer, whose name is escaping me, it's a French name. It's a 3-letter word. It's a 2-letter word. It's a 3-letter word. I don't remember, but he nailed it. He's got an excellent soundtrack in this game, and his soundtrack is a great mix of what you heard from Daft Punk and Legacy and the original Tron. And I don't mean he remixes songs. He doesn't. He just takes the approach to the original Tron, which had a lot of orchestral stuff with a little bit of synth. And Tron Legacy was a lot of synth with a little bit of orchestral, and he mixes those two together for this game. I'd say it leans more towards the Daft Punk style, but kills it. Like the song in the library is magical to me. And the song in each location has a song, but those songs get new instruments when you're talking to certain characters. Brilliantly done. So you associate a theme and an instrument with the song in the location. Does such a good job. The title song is great. The whole soundtrack great. I've listened to the soundtrack probably 4 times this week while I was working. Really good. You can stream it for free. Awesome stuff. So William George says this Tron game sounds a bit like a Blade Runner game. Yeah, I mean, if you like the things you get out of Blade Runner, you will get some of those from this Tron game without a doubt. Tron Identity very much takes a Blade Runner style approach to how that story's handled. And there's some similar themes in there. It's taken very seriously and it asks tough questions, which is exactly what I want from a Tron game. So I cannot sing the praises of this game enough. And just this week, Bithell announced that this is the beginning of the relationship with Disney for the Tron property. So Bithell's doing more with Tron. And I'm so pumped for that. And I reported on that. And Bithell got in touch with me. And they were like, thank you so much for sharing that because nobody knows that we're doing that. And I was like, I didn't know either when I found out. I was really excited. So, here's something.
Really great story.
Bithell, I want to say Mike Bithell is the guy's name. He read my review. I didn't send it to him. He read my review on his own because, when you put out a game, the embargo lifts and you're like, oh my God, is my game going to suck? Does everybody hate it? He read my review and mine was the first he quoted and retweeted to everybody. So he really liked it, which is awesome to see. I'm not out to please the people who make games. I'm out to tell the truth about how I feel about the game. But it's always nice when I love a game and a developer gets to see that. And they're like, that's awesome because they work really hard on their stuff too. But the higher praise, my review was retweeted by Nintendo's Bill Trinan. He doesn't do marketing for Nintendo. He's a translator for Miyamoto and oversees some other stuff. He's not their advertising guy. He's just a guy that read the review and liked what I said and retweeted it. So that's awesome. And I sent him a thank you as well. That was really cool to see. Bill very rarely does that kind of stuff. And he did it with this review. So I guess he's very passionate about the game too. And he liked my review. So that's awesome to see. I couldn't ask for a better response. So if I haven't sold you on the game, I don't know what else to do. It's $15. It's cheap. It's cheap. Throw some gold points in there too. It's a short game. It's like 4 hours. And it's replayable because your decisions impact what happens, who lives, who dies. So there's reason to go back. There's also, it does a really cool thing where I didn't even talk about the puzzle stuff. Like I said, or like you said, you're right. I was over there. I was on your side of the table. I apologize.
Closer to me than I
am. In the game, you help programs defrag because there's been an explosion and they've lost pieces of their memory. And as a detective, I forget what the detectives are called, but
Trinans.
You defrag their identity discs to help them get back some of their memory.
It's like
Department of something, yeah.
I want to say DOT.
And you play this as a game, and it's a circular game, like
TRON.
it's like a wheel that has spokes on it. And the spokes have numbers and icons, and you have to match them to clear the grid, to clear the funk out of these people's identity discs. And they get their memories back. It's a cool little game, and you can play that game separately in Tron Identity. If you just like the puzzle game, you can go to a mode that's only the puzzle game. And if you don't like the puzzles or you get stuck on them, you can skip those completely. But it's cool to see how you do the defragging and then that unlocks more memories. There was something else I was going to say. It's gone 4 hours. Make decisions again, different outcomes. It's gone. Just play the game. Holy crap. If you're cool with visual novels, play Disciples of Tron. There you go. Thank you, Dre Gamer. It's an awesome game. Awesome game. And there's a few moments in that game where I sat just staring at the screen with the music, which had some sullen points, and decisions I made didn't play out the way I was hoping they would. And I'm like, oh, man, this hurts. There's one character in particular where there's things that happen to him where I was like devastated by it. I was like, this poor person, this is a horrible story for them. So
this poor program.
Thank you. Dan Lasac is the composer. Go look him up on Twitter or type in his name and the Tron Identity soundtrack or search it on Go Nintendo because we shared it. Awesome game. Even if you don't know anything about Tron, this is a great place to start. So I love it.